Like, I knew that Henry Cavill was hot, but I didn't know Ben Affleck could look that good. And it's making me have some questions. Follow White Rabbit. Hi guys, back again. The second video in the Justice League spoiler review thing, whatever. I'm going character by character. I just did Wonder Woman and now this is Batman. The big guy. I tried to think of something funny to say and I couldn't. You know, if you're not really interested in hearing, you know, about Batman, there will be more, and I will be going into more in-depth things. It is a 4-hour movie. I think getting in-depth into each character is probably the best way to go. I think Batman was probably my favourite character, which is crazy for me because I'm such a Superman fan. I couldn't believe that Bruce, who really stole the show. Watching Ben Affleck play Batman, he just gets better and better and better. I think he's better in this than he is in BVS. In BVS I thought he was brilliant, so maybe it's a little bit biased of me to say that because he's such a good actor and maybe I'm looking more so at the performance than the actual character, but I can't help it. I think he blows it out of the water every single time. Every time he's in a scene with someone else, he ups the game. He makes them better. Particularly Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill. I don't think they are the best actors in the world. They're good, but I don't think they're top tier. So I think when they are in scenes with him, he really elevates them. Same with Ezra Miller actually. I don't think he is the best actor in the world either, but he really ups his game when he's in a scene with Batman. Just can't get away from the fact that he brings like a nuance to Bruce Wayne that just we have never seen before. That gloomy gloom and doom, I think maybe some people go overboard with it a little bit, and I think Ben Affleck knows how to have inner pain that you try not to show on the outside. For some reason, when I went to see the theatrical cut in 2007, and one of the first things I saw was Bruce Wayne on a horse, which looked like a Shetland pony at the time, was just like one of the funniest things ever. I remember I was sitting in the cinema with my sister and we just kind of both looked at each other and we both laughed because Bruce Wayne being on a horse, I don't know why, it was just so funny. And I saw Bruce Wayne on a horse in this one, and not only Bruce Wayne on a horse, but Bruce Wayne on a horse for like 2 minutes, like a good 2 minutes, going over the mountains and stuff. In the theatrical cut, I remember always thinking to myself, like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why does he not just fly there? Like, why? Like, he's Bruce Wayne, he has literal airplanes and helicopters. Why can't he just fly there? Why the hell they cut a 5-second line? I think they're supposed to be in Iceland or maybe Norway or something like that. Man saying the storm has stopped flights and helicopters coming in for 3 days. So how did he get here? And they're like, oh, he treks the mountains. That's why he's trekking the mountains. And it's like, why would they cut that? Like, it literally makes no sense as to why Bruce Wayne is doing this if you cut that. Literally 3 seconds. From the get-go, I was like, okay, this is going to be like a vast improvement. Also, I loved Jeremy Irons as Alfred. A little scene between them, between Ben and Jeremy as he got off the plane that wasn't in the theatrical cut, I loved. He's like, oh, do you think there's any like meta-humans in like Fiji next time? Which I thought was really funny. Perfect example of the like Alfred like Bruce dynamic that there is. Like, it's banter, but it's like there's also like a lot of love there, which I really loved. Alfred was also wearing a killer hat in that scene too. Rewatching the movie, I have to say, but I think the Aquaman scene, the very first scene where he's going to see Aquaman, may have been one of the most messed up scenes because it was so tension filled in this version. It felt awkward, like the way the man was like, we're poor, we're not dumb. The rich man's just come in and, you know, insulting us was really great. The dialogue was really good. In the theatrical version, it was stupid and it was played for laughs, whereas this was like a tension-filled story. Introduce Aquaman in a very realistic way. In this movie, I'll go more into detail about Aquaman when we get to him, but he's a very complex character, like really interesting in this story. You know, he's not just a brooding guy. Another supporting character for Batman that was brilliant, as well as Jeremy Irons and Gal Gadot, was J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. I don't know how them scenes were better in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but they were for some reason. I don't know why. He was a much more convincing Commissioner Gordon in this than he was in Justice League. But I would love to see Ben Affleck and J.K. Simmons have that type of Gordon, Bruce Wayne, Batman relationship, because it's a really important relationship for man, and he's one of the only people that he trusts. So I would love to see more, and it's a real shame that Ben Affleck isn't doing his movie anymore, but I have a feeling Commissioner Gordon would have been a big part, and hopefully in the future we will get to see, you know, maybe a Ben Affleck HBO show, because I think J.K. Simmons would knock it out of the park. I'd also love to see him with Barbara Gordon. And I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of Gary Oldman's version. It's good, but I'm craving something else, let's just say that. I'm actually pulling a complete blank on the guy's name who's going to be doing Gordon in Reeves' Batman, but he looks very good. He turns and he says, I'll speak to him tonight. And then the guy's like, how? And he's like, how do you think? Like, and it was just, even the way he said that was just perfect. I loved it. I think for years to come, we will talk about, you know, Bruce's guilt. In BVS, it was all about Bruce's anger. In Justice League, Bruce's guilt is palpable, comes through the screen at you. I'm surprised that more people aren't talking about this, but I'm sure, as I said, we will as time goes on. Maybe my one criticism of the movie is everyone seems pretty on board with bringing Superman back. Batman is very insistent on it, which is confusing to me a little bit, because he has seen the nightmare. He knows what's coming, or what could come, and yet he's still so adamant that they have to do this. You know, he says to Alfred, this is the first time I'm going completely on faith, which is just very not Batman, you know? I feel like even though he does trust Superman now, there's always going to be distrust there. There's always going to be worry, especially because he's having these visions. He knows what could come, and he knows what could happen if Superman ever did decide to just go crazy. And he does a little bit when he is woken up or revived. He doesn't really know who he is, and he starts attacking the League, and that is just a sliver of what could really happen. Bruce is so passionate about his faith in Clark that I just don't know where that came from. Maybe it's just gonna take me some time, but there's no us without him. I know where it's come from, actually. I know where his optimism has come from, and it's being driven by guilt, clearly. He's so guilty about what he did, or what he nearly did, to Superman. His guilt for doing that, and him being able to step back and realise that he was being pushed over the edge, I think now has pushed him so far to the other side as well. He might be more open to making mistakes. Not that bringing Clark back was a mistake, we know that now in hindsight, but at the time he didn't know it wasn't going to be a mistake. You know, Aquaman was like, when you die, like something goes in you. Your soul is gone. It's not just you're asleep. I think something did go from Superman, but we'll talk about that in his video. I just don't think Bruce really took it into account, and I think maybe that might be the point now that I'm saying this out loud. Maybe because he feels so guilty about what he did. Maybe in the future, when he sees Clark doing things that maybe might push the line, he will be more willing to give him leeway because of how guilty he feels. Batman is guilty about what he did. He's not the type of Batman that's like, look, I did it and I do it again. I think I'm kind of used to, so it's just probably taking me a while to like really understand this trust and this guilt, you know what I mean? But I think it's acted so perfectly that it's so convincing. It's also very unlike Batman to not have a plan or a contingency plan for Superman when he comes back. He comes back, he has no idea what's going on, he's completely delirious almost, and he thinks that the Leaguers are dangerous to him. He doesn't remember who he is. And he attacks every single member of the League and takes them all down, including Wonder Woman, and then he goes for Batman. And literally the one thing he has are these gauntlet things that Alfred has made, and that's it. Like, that's all he has. Then he has just his words to try and turn him around. Is like, oh, the world needs you. He doesn't care. He's like, you know, he doesn't know who he is. Like, I find it hard to believe that Batman didn't have a plan, or a better plan for this, but maybe he didn't have enough time to think about it. His guilt really does drive him, and Alfred said, your guilt has become your reason. You know, Superman is his greatest asset, or the League's greatest asset, the world's greatest asset really. But it will also become, you know, because we know what's going to happen, will become their greatest threat as well. Superman is probably the only one who can stop Darkseid, but he's also the most dangerous thing that could have happened to the human race. For Bruce, it's a difficult decision that I'm just not sure if he really thought about for long enough. You know, like when the chips are down and you need someone to just do and make a decision. That is very in Batman's character too. You know, I'll probably need to like think about this and like go over it in my head. As I said, I think it was acted so well. It's convincing either way. I loved the line when he was bringing the League into the Batcave and he said, this is Alfred and I work for him. Alfred didn't even correct him, he was just like, yeah, you do work for me, get out there. So in the end, he goes to Wayne Manor, which will become the Hall of Justice. But when he went in with Alfred, he kind of turns to him and goes like, it must be 50 feet, or he said something like that. I was like to myself, because I was always under the impression that Bruce lived there until something happened with Robin. Robin and Batman lived in the manor until that happened. But by the sounds of it, that kind of implies that they had never lived there and Bruce doesn't really know the house. So maybe he hadn't lived there since his parents died, which could be true. I'm not sure if I'm mad about that, but it's a decision, I suppose. I like that the Hall of Justice will be Bruce Wayne Manor, sorry. But Grace Randolph said something funny actually. She was like, how the hell are they going to explain that to people? Like, this is Bruce Wayne's house and all the Justice League meet up in it, but I'm not Batman, I swear. I mean, we have bigger things to worry about in that regards. Like, Clark Kent is back being a journalist, for God's sake. He had an open casket funeral. How are they going to explain this? I think you just have to go with it. You can't think too deeply into it because a lot of things don't make sense in this type of world. So also, we established that Deathstroke is coming after him, probably for the death of his son. He says that the vendetta against him is personal. It was obviously supposed to be in Ben Affleck's Batman that he was going to direct with Joe Manganiello. They've talked about it a lot. But even if that doesn't come into fruition, I think, you know, I would love to see Deathstroke. I think he'll get it because he's passionate about the role. He's talked about it openly many times, and I think I think they'll run the numbers and he'll get it, to be honest, in some way or in some fashion. I think he will get it, and I'm actually really excited about that because they said that it was going to be small budget. So small budget, either movie or TV series. I'd love that. And maybe even if, you know, Ben didn't want to come back full time, if he could make an appearance or something, you know, like he did maybe in Suicide Squad. Or more Deathstroke is basically what I want. But yeah, I'd love to see them together. There's so many people that I'd love to see Ben Affleck's Batman with. I'd love to see his interactions with Dick Grayson. If they're going, I know they're killing him off, but flashbacks, like I'd love to see him like as a dad. Like, you have the actor who's going to pull it off. So I think as long as he wants to stay, I think you should do as much as you can with it. I just do not believe that somebody gives a type of performance like he did in this movie, in that nightmare sequence, like 6 months ago, I think it was, less maybe, and not want to do more with Batman. I think he was a bit hurt by the reception of BVS, but I think if he was given the right material and was able to make the decisions that he wanted to about Batman, I think he might just come back. If it was me, I'd put down a check and I'd say, write a number down and give it to him, to be honest with you. But I'd say that to a lot of people. I'd say that to Henry Cavill as well. I just don't think you can afford to lose the best actor by far in this movie. Let's talk about the last scene in the movie first, and then I'll go back to the nightmare because I have something to say about the nightmare scene. So Bruce wakes up from his vision. Now, I talked about in another video about how that was actually supposed to be a Green Lantern. So Zack said that they actually had cast a Jon Stewart. They had shot it, which is, I need to know who that actor was supposed to be. I need to know. But it ended up being Martian Manhunter, which I was happy with too. I loved their interaction, and I loved how, you know, Batman, like in BVS, like Batman is like aliens exist. Like, I can't trust anyone. Like, we don't know what this alien wants. He could kill the whole world, blah, blah, blah. And he's so pent up about like aliens and like things he doesn't understand. And now in this movie, this green like Martian has come to him to talk, and he's just like, can I help you? Like he's not even worried anymore. He's just like, look, whatever, I'm done with you aliens. Like, yeah, we can be friends, whatever. But yeah, and when, you know, John said, your parents will be proud of you, and Ben went like, I hope so. At the end of the day, the reason why he does all of this is because of them. So to bring it right back around again to his parents, I think he needed to hear that, because after, you know, his mistakes of BVS and his guilt in Justice League, I think he needed to hear, like, no, you did a good job. Like, you did well. You brought all these people together, and it's needed, and the world needs you, and you did a great job. And the scene closes, and we wait for Justice League 2. But anyway, back to what arguably is the best scene in the entire movie, which I am shocked I'm saying, to be honest, I have to say. When I heard that they were coming back to do more, I was excited and I was looking forward to the nightmare scene, but it wasn't number one that I was looking forward to. The theatrical version, the best scene was Superman fighting the League. And I think if they hadn't have shot the new additional photography, it would, Superman fighting the League would have been the best one still in this one. But this scene, oh my god, like so much in it, so much more than I thought there would be. People are complaining that they thought it was very short. I thought it was long. I thought it was long. I thought it went on, like, gave us more than I expected. I sent out a tweet yesterday, or I'm not sure when I'm putting this up, but I sent it out, and I'll put it up here to show you what I said. And it may have started World War III online. It really did. What I meant was Jared Leto's Joker scene with Batman, his interaction with Batman, I think is better than the interrogation scene in The Dark Knight. I don't mean that I think Jared Leto is a better Joker than Heath Ledger. That's not what I meant. Neither are actually my favourite Joker. My favourite Joker of all time is Mark Hamill, and my favourite live action one is actually Joaquin Phoenix. So it's neither of these, but people lost their minds. People came at me from all angles. Like, people were giving out to me in different languages, people were calling me a stupid bitch. Like, it was insane. I don't think I've ever received that level of hate from anything. People are really passionate when it comes to the Joker, and yeah, the hate was really unnecessary, but this scene was next level great. And it was great not only because of the Joker and Jared Leto's performance, but because of Batman's reaction. Batman has the best line, not only in the movie, but maybe in the whole series in this sequence. When he says, I will kill you, and make no mistake, I will fucking kill you. I was dead. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was so good. Ben Affleck just absolutely knocks it out of the park. That, at first, kind of like, oh, Joker, like, shut up, like, what are you doing? And then Joker knowing the exact points to hit on Bruce, hitting his guilt about Dick and about Lois then later on. How many times are we gonna do this because you can't die for the cause? Man can't get over that guilt, and you know, I'm pretty sure it had nothing to, we haven't seen that scene, but I'm pretty sure it had nothing to do with Batman not wanting to die. I'm pretty sure he just couldn't save her. An absolutely amazing scene. I think, don't kill me, the best Batman Joker scene I've ever seen. Phenomenal, amazing, art, brilliant. We need more of them together. Like, if we don't see more of them, we're gonna riot. I had no time for Jared Leto's Joker. Like, I have to be honest, I had no time. Seeing him with this Batman, I don't even know what to say. Like, I honestly don't even know what to say. And Joker says to him, you know, how many people have to die in your arms before you die inside yourself? And Bruce goes, oh, well, I died inside a long time ago. But you have to think, okay, so he did see Robin die. He saw and it's Dick Grayson Robin. It's not Jason Todd, it's Dick Grayson. Arguably his, you know, his, in the comics, his favourite son. He watched his parents die. And we find out he held Harley Quinn as she died. How many other people in this world, in this apocalyptic world, did he hold as they died too? I'm thinking Barbara Gordon. Yes, I'm bringing her up again. He probably saw Diana die. He might have seen Commissioner Gordon die. Alfred doesn't seem to be around either. There's a lot of people that could be gone. The trauma of that, I think, really comes through in that anger. As when he says, I will fucking kill you. like, don't mess with me. I'm done now. I'm not the same Batman I was, and I'm going to kill you. We need a nightmare movie. We need a movie with just nightmare. Like, seriously, we really, really do. That's all I really have to say about Batman. He was my favourite in the film, which I'm surprised about. Their 10 out of 10 performance from Ben Affleck. I will be there whenever he wants to do anything else. HBO Max, The Flash, I'm there. So I'll see you next time, guys. I don't know who the next one is I'm going to do. In my notes, it's Aquaman, but I might do Cyborg next. I don't know. Or maybe Superman. I'll end off the trilogy. But I was going to leave Superman to the last. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? But if you guys can leave a like and maybe subscribe, because the next one will be coming, that would be great. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Wondering how if I'll ever get